Jazz in all its colors from the campus of Winston-Salem State University. It's 4:30. You're listening to Afternoon Jazz at 90.5 FM, WSNC Winston-Salem. Jazz in all its colors from the campus of Winston-Salem State University. I'm Jim Steele, being with you this afternoon, and we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. Well, several things, actually. We're going to talk about art, and it is the Art Hop. It's coming up this weekend in the streets of Winston-Salem. Friday night is when a lot of the galleries will be opening, and they'll be opening late, and lots of fun things will be going on. But a thing that's opening, a show rather, that's opening Friday, and they've got a big event coming up on Saturday, is a new relatively new gallery that's open. It's called the Blissful Studios and Gallery. They're located at 854 West 4th Street, downtown Winston-Salem, and a lot of us know that as a space where you probably had a lot of framing work done because it's always been a center for the arts and galleries and framing and fun Friday evenings. And the owner is with us in the studio this afternoon, John Berg. Welcome, John.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, you know, you got to give us a backstory on you acquiring this studio and actually developing it, because I think it's going to get you Father of the Year, because you have a daughter who's an artist.
Yes, my daughter Melissa, who runs the gallery for us, is a graduate of UNCG, a studio arts major, and she left us and went down to Florida to work for Disney for a few years.
Wow.
And she learned a lot in that environment, in that company, but last fall she was up here for a visit, and she said, Dad, I would really like the opportunity to do my own art, and be very creative with it. And my wife and I and Melissa started talking, and we have another daughter, Emily Clark, who is also a good artist. And we thought, wouldn't it be great to have a space where the girls could show their art, Melissa could run the gallery and learn the business side of the gallery, and also we could do framing and printing and have other artists surround the girls and perhaps mentor the girls as art in a business setting.
John, you and your wife, what's your wife's name?
My wife's name is Debbie.
John and Debbie, Parents of the Year. And smart, too, because not only did you get your child back at home, where most parents secretly want their children, if you're going to be honest, but you set her up in a great environment for her to be a businesswoman, to be an artist, and to really, really command her own destiny.
It's been a lot of fun when we've been working at getting the space ready and discussing ideas. My daughter and I certainly have had our moments of debate, shall I call them, and that's been great for both of us because we both learned that we have a lot to offer the gallery through our ideas. And as I said, it's a real big family affair because my wife has helped us with the IT technology, which is never fun. My daughter Emily is a super creative artist, and as I said, Melissa is there every day learning how to run it as a business, relating to other artists, etc. So it's been a real family effort.
So what a great experience that was to work for Disney, because they are legendary for their customer service.
She will tell you about Disney and from the employee manual to how to treat guests, how to work with customers, etc. And she did learn a lot in her 3 years there, that's for sure.
We're talking with John Berg. He and his family are the owners of the Blissful Studios and Gallery, located downtown Winston-Salem at 854 West 4th Street. They've got an exciting exhibition that's opening of African-American artists, and this is in partnership with Winston-Salem State University, because three of the students who are of the people, they're not students anymore, three of the artists that they're showing are recent graduates of Winston-Salem State University's art department.
That's right. We had envisioned a show because we have several artists who are both local and from other areas of the country. Mention of Lindsey Johnson from St. Louis, Rodney Bennett from Asheboro, and they were talking about a show, and I said, as we kind of brainstormed, they said, wouldn't it be great to do something with a student artist, especially graduating students who would like to have the experience of a real commercial event? And I said, that would be great. And so I got in touch with Tammy Evans in the art department here, and she invited me to the Diggs Gallery for the senior art show. And I was just very impressed with both the professionalism of the students, all of them, as well as their art. And I talked to all the artists, and we engaged with 3 to be in the show, and they all said yes. Malaysia Bennett and Malachi McCain and Jordan Wright. Yeah. And they're all fantastic young people, and also all of them are tremendous artists.
Well, John, hats off to you, first of all, for being a supporter of the arts, but also for helping these young artists continue their education as business people, because not only do they get the joy of creating art, but they also have to learn how to be a business person, because they're self-employed for the most part.
That's right. We had their class visit the gallery a few weeks ago, the entire class, and one of the things we talked about with the students was, well, how do you approach a gallery if you want to show? What should you expect in a contract with the gallery? What kind of commission rate do galleries want and expect? Mm-hmm. How do you sell yourself? And how do you eat? Because, a lot of artists, including some of the artists we have in the gallery now that make their living full-time as artists, started out doing their art part-time and made a living during the day, and reached that point where they could break off and do their art full-time. And so we spoke to the students a lot about that journey.
Oh, another smart thing about your approach, John, is that you are entering the business without blinders, because you are an accountant by trade. You all hold an MBA, so you are going into this. You are taking your daughters by the hand, and also these other young artists that are part of this show, and saying, this is how the business is done.
Yeah, both my wife and I are CPAs and have been CPAs for over 30 years, so you might be surprised that we have the interest in arts that we do, but I've served on some different boards, et cetera, and got really interested in arts management. And but I have learned a lot from our artists, and I have learned a lot from the people that have helped us. We talked earlier about Sarah Watts, one of our artists, who was a professor at Wake Forest, and one of the things that's been wonderful about this journey has been the helpful hand of so many people that want the gallery to succeed. And artists obviously want more venues for their art, and want to be in a gallery that is represents their art in a certain way. And so we've listened a lot to our artists, because they know better than us on how to display, how to relate to customers, etc.
John Berg, he and his wife and his daughters are all part of the Blissful Studios and Gallery at 854 West 4th Street, downtown Winston-Salem. We're talking about an exhibition that's coming up this weekend featuring African-American artists, 3 of whom are recent graduates from Winston-Salem State University. You came to Diggs, or you came to the campus, to the art department, and you found these artists. What an exciting concept.
Well, one of the things that's really neat about these artists is they have very different work. Malaysia Bennett, she does her digital work, similar to what my daughter does. Jordan Wright, he's doing pencil and very realistic drawings, but very different medium. And then Malachi McCain, he does sculpture, and his sculptures are interesting. He actually does his sculptures starting with tennis shoe material and gas masks, of all things, and they're really interesting. And so one of the reasons that we selected the 3 artists was the variety of work. All the artists that we saw at Diggs were super talented, but we thought about what we would do as a kickoff event or first event, and I wish I could have had all 8 show. But we're excited to have Malaysia and Jordan and Malachi, because they just have great attitude and great talent.
In your invitation to everyone to come out on Saturday, what can they see, and what time should they arrive for your event?
Oh, thanks for asking. That's a great question. The event's from 5 to 8, and we have live music. We have a great vocalist, keyboard, opera trained, but he is a jazz artist and His name is Jacob Toner, and he'll be performing throughout the night. I would say come early because the artists will be fresh. They'll be wanting to talk about their art, have a free glass of wine or a free glass of beer, and we'll have hors d'oeuvres and snacks. The gallery's kind of split up so that each artist has their own space, and they can talk about their career and their art. But we encourage the artists to mingle with each other too, because one of the things that we hope is these students meet established artists and they can establish some maybe mentoring relationships, which is really cool. But it ends up being a big party in the end. Last event we had, Valencia Johnson from St. Louis, her daughter is 18 and is coming up and showing a couple pieces, and we ended up the evening doing the wobble together. So I'm sure I embarrassed my daughters greatly, but
that's your job, actually.
My full-time job, exactly.
One of the things that is fascinating about that space is it's in the West End. It's in a pretty old building, and there have been a lot of different spaces in there that had to do with the arts and with framing and really with good times. So there should be a good spirit there in that building for you.
I think so. The history of that building is so interesting. It's actually the oldest commercial building in Winston-Salem.
I didn't know
that.
Built
in 1892, and it was a grocery store at first, and the family lived upstairs. We have Sally Gupton, a photographer, does her photography up there, and we have the main space. And then beneath us, we have a wonderful flower shop that we've become friends with all these small business owners. But we completely gutted the inside of that space to make it friendly to the gallery, but we are not allowed to touch any of the outside of the building because it's historical. But and similar to what you mentioned, we do picture framing, we do printing too, and we kind of try to cater to the artist community, especially in the printing business, because it's getting harder and harder to find good printers that do the high-end printing on the Giclée or the archival papers. And that's another aspect of the business my daughters are learning, because as most gallery owners will tell you, you need to make your living through different revenue streams. And this is where our business experiences helped us in what we're trying to teach the girls.
And you ended that on the right note, teach, because that's part of I've noticed your mission, and that is teaching young artists and not so young artists how to navigate the business and how to be successful in this art community, because we're known as a city of arts and innovation, and it's certainly there is a wealth of art here in our community and artists.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things, both my wife and I being CPAs, when my daughter Melissa, we asked her, what will your major be in college? And she said, well, I want to be an artist. And we were both like, but how will you make a living? And she just put her hand on my shoulder and she said, Dad, the world needs art. And she pointed out all the places that art is and how many different ways there are to make a living as an artist. And I want to create an environment where these students feel and are encouraged by the fact that they've worked hard to get this degree, and there is a way to make it as an artist and do what you love in your life.
That's splendid. Well said, and I look forward to meeting your daughter, seeing your space. It's the Blissful Studios and Gallery located at 854 West 4th Street, downtown Winston-Salem. We've got three recent graduates of Winston-Salem State University showing at the gallery. They are Malaysia Bennett, Jordan Wright, and Malachi McCain, and also other friends that will be showing at the gallery as well. Go to their website. We'll have links on our page, and also there is a link about the event that's coming up this weekend at the Blissful Studios and Gallery. John Berg, thanks for taking some time out to talk with us.
Oh, goodness. Thank you for having me. This is my first visit to the radio station here, and everyone's been so kind. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Well, I hope it's not the last. You're listening to 90.5 FM, WSNC Winston-Salem, jazz in all its colors from the campus of Winston-Salem State University. It's 4:43, coming up at the top of the hour, National Public Radio News. Then we'll go into the third hour of Afternoon Jazz.
WSNC 90.5 FM. 90.5 FM.